Welcome and let your journey to soul expansion begin. I'm your host, Kristen Kaczynski. This show will take you on a journey of expansion, encouraging you to release the limitations of your mind and lean into the wisdom of your soul. Remembering who you are on a soul level will help you release your conditioning, expectations, limiting beliefs, fears, and worries, and evoke a life expanded by your energetic alignment. Whether you're an entrepreneur who wants to grow your income and impact, or someone who knows in your heart of hearts that you're made for more, this podcast will help you awaken the power that's already inside of you, allowing you to attract an easy flow of money, clients, opportunities, and fulfillment. In each episode, you'll learn something new, expand your consciousness, and you'll walk away with a glimpse of what's truly possible for you. If you're ready to follow your soul's calling and live a more expansive life, you're in the right place. Welcome, and let your journey to soul expansion begin. I'm going to say something kind of radical, and not everyone may be ready to receive this, but some of you will really appreciate this. And so no matter where you're at right now, I just want you to keep an open mind as I say the next thing I'm about to say. You are the center of the motherfucking universe. The world revolves around you. You are the most important person in every single room you walk into. Why? Well, because I'm referring to how you should feel about yourself. And no, this is not selfish. And no, this is not arrogance. This is realizing that if you're not the most important person to you, then that means on some level you're sacrificing parts of yourself. You're sacrificing your needs. You're sacrificing your desires. You're compromising what you truly want, and you're settling for something less than what you are worthy of. And by the way, if you hear some squeaky dog toys in the background, you're just going to have to get over it because the dogs are here and this is my podcast and we're just going to have dog toys on this podcast. So that was a little side note. But you are the center of your world, right? And I think we're so often taught, and I can even remember in my childhood people saying, Kristen, the world does not revolve around you. But I fully believe that it should for me, right? I'm not expecting other people to think the world revolves around me. What I'm saying is other people should also believe that the world revolves around them. Everyone should believe that the world revolves around them from a place of love and abundance and gratitude. Because you are the movie star of your life, right? No one else is going to co-create your life other than you. No one else has the ability to set your boundaries and set your standards for what you expect from the world. And I like to live in the energy of the world exists to cater to my needs. The world exists to make sure all my needs are met and then some. The world exists to give me an easy, beautiful, wonderful, luxurious, opulent life. The world does not exist to make me suffer. The world does not exist for me to self-sacrifice what's important to me for someone else. And that doesn't mean I'm not generous. That doesn't mean I don't care about other people. But it just means I have enough self-worth and an internal sense of what's right for me to know that I can choose myself first and still be there for other people. Here's an example. I was in a cafe this morning and this woman was like, oh, I'm behind you. Let me just go reserve a table really quick. But just so you know, I'm behind you, basically saying can you save my spot in line? And I didn't say anything and she walked away. And I had a little like mental conversation about this. And I said to myself, that is like so presumptuous. I don't want to have a awkward social conversation with someone who comes up behind me and be like, "Oh no, someone else." I'm not available to have that conversation for this woman because I don't know this woman, right? And so I just decided within myself, okay, I'm not going to assume that that's going to happen, but if it does happen, I am not available to have that conversation. And luckily, I didn't have to have that conversation. But here's the thing, that wasn't me being selfish. That was me understanding within myself my own personal boundaries. Like, I didn't say that I would save that spot for that person. They just expected me to. And what people expect of me is not my responsibility. My responsibility is my own damn boundaries. My responsibility is what I want to do. My responsibility is what feels good to me. And for me, it did not feel good to have that awkward social conversation if someone came up behind me and be like, "Oh, wait, sorry, someone else was standing here," right? I was completely unavailable for that. And so I decided within myself, if someone comes up behind me, I'm not going to say anything, and it's going to be up to her to have that awkward conversation. And I will validate that she was standing behind me, but I am not going to make it my fucking job to tell someone else that this random stranger was standing behind me, right? Like, that is not my job. I'm not available for that. And, a past version of me would have like taken that role on as like a huge responsibility of, oh, this person, is expecting you to do this, so you should do this. And like, it's the nice thing to do. But I'm sorry, the nice thing to do is to honor yourself first. The nice thing to do is to, check in with yourself, check in with what you're okay with, and make it a decision that's grounded in your values and grounded in what you stand for. And I do not do anything that a stranger wants me to do unless it's okay with me. That is a very clear boundary I have. This goes for people I know too, right? I do not do anything that is not okay with me. I just will not do it. I don't care whose feelings get hurt. I don't care, what people expect of me or what they're going to say about me behind my back. I am not available for that. Here's another example. One of my friends invited me to drive down to go wedding dress shopping, and we had, kind of like loosely scheduled it. On a weekend I was available, but then she had to cancel last minute, and it was just kind of this thing. And her schedule's busy, my schedule's busy, whatever, right? And then she asked if I wanted to come down in the next 2 weekends, or I think the next 2 or 3 weekends. At the time I'm recording this is right when, I agreed to up our podcast game to 2 podcasts per month starting April 1st, right? So, I checked within myself, and even though there was a part of me that was like, "Oh, well, it would be so nice of you to drive down there and she would really appreciate that." Within myself, I knew it was a hard no. I'm not available to drive 3 hours for a 1-day thing when we had previously scheduled it on a weekend that made a lot more sense for me, right? And it's not that I don't love her. I love her so much, and I'm going to hop on a Zoom call with her and be there for her in that way. But because of the scheduling complications, I'm not going to inconvenience myself and, compromise my own needs to be well rested on the weekends and to not have to sit in traffic and to not have to deal with all of the things that go into driving 3 hours to another city when I'm ramping up so many things in my business, right? And some people would say, well, if you were a true friend, you would do that. But I think a true friend always, always, always checks in with themselves first and offers to help people, help their friends, be there for their friends in a way that feels good to them. I would never want a friend to be there for me in a way that doesn't feel good to them, in a way that compromises their own values and their own needs, because then they're sacrificing themselves for me. And no one should behave that way. No one should sacrifice themselves for anyone, including parents for their children. Now, I don't have children yet, but this is a conversation I'm excited to have when I am fully informed about this. But I don't believe on any level that we should fully sacrifice ourselves for our children. We need to set aside time for ourselves. We need to set aside time to make sure our needs are met. Otherwise, we can't be a well-resourced parent. And that's just the truth, right? And yeah, I'm not a parent yet. So if you feel like you want to send me some hate mail about how I don't understand things, check in with yourself and see if that really serves you. I'm not available to read that. One of my professional goals is to heal my entire generation. And I know that sounds like a big, hairy, audacious goal, but it's true. It's something that I think is my soul's calling. It's why I'm here. It's why I have my business. It's why I do the work that I do. And my first phase of starting to bring this healing to a bigger audience has been with the creation of the Soul Expansion membership. And you guys have heard me talk about it on the podcast. It's been, mentioned since the very beginning of this show. And I am just overwhelmed with joy and excitement as I look at the community and the membership that we've created. We have a private Slack community where our members are super active. They're supporting each other. They're helping each other through mindset blocks and energy blocks. And I pop in there once or twice a week to offer additional support to our members. And we have monthly live healings where everyone gets on the call, and the energy on these calls is just, it's magic. I mean, having this community live on a call every single month is something that lights my soul on fire. I mean, it gives me that taste of what it's going to be like as my company grows and as we expand to help people even beyond business owners, because the Soul Expansion membership is intended for entrepreneurs. So if you don't know what the Soul Expansion membership is, this is a vibrant community where we have a private Slack channel. There's 4 monthly healings, 3 are pre-recorded, 1 is live, and it's always on a business, mindset, or energetic theme. So we've covered topics like receiving, divine feminine energy, launching challenges. Future months, we're going to be covering things like releasing imposter syndrome, releasing comparison, millionaire mindset and energy, feeling deep embodied worthiness, embodying overflow. All of these things that we want to be able to step into, expand into, grow into, so that we can grow our income and impact without having to hustle or burn ourselves out or get into this trap of the wounded masculine. And this program's $111 per month. We kept it as affordable as we possibly could so that we could serve more people with this beautiful mission. And if you'd like to be a part of it, you can get started now at mysoulexpansion.com. Again, it's mysoulexpansion.com. And even though it is so affordable, it is still incredibly high impact. I mean, I've had more than one member tell me that after doing even just one healing in the Soul Expansion membership, they've been able to sign a client. Whereas before they joined, maybe they were getting stuck in traps of scarcity, or they weren't able to receive, or whatever it was. So this is not low quality healing. This is high quality stuff. We just are able to offer it for an affordable price because it is more self-paced and more community driven versus, private coaching. So we hope you'll join us, mysoulexpansion.com, and let's get back to the show. It's just one of those things where the culture is to self-sacrifice, to serve others, and to people please, and to be a rock star parent. But I feel so much better, and I'm able to serve people in my life from a much more loving place when I feel good. I'm able to have more emotionally intelligent conversations. I'm able to come from love and compassion when I'm well-resourced. When I'm under-resourced because I'm self-sacrificing out of fear that someone is going to think that I'm being selfish for taking care of my own needs, that's when I lash out at people. That's when I get annoyed with people I love. That's when I get angry for no reason, right? So it actually serves everyone when I serve myself first. And that's not just true of me, that's true of you too. You are the center of your world. The world does in fact revolve around you for you. It doesn't for your partner. It doesn't for your kids. It doesn't for your mother or your father. But it revolves around you for you. And it's time to start recognizing that and acting like that. And the funny thing that happens when you actually embody that, when you actually know it deeply within yourself that your world revolves around you and the world exists to cater to your every need, and you are worthy of being loved, you are worthy of being supported by money, by people, by your partner, by your pets or your children or whatever it is. When you're in that state of knowing that on the deepest of levels and it's embodied, then that's actually your experience in life. I was watching Modern Family, and this point was just illustrated so beautifully by, is it Sofia Vergara? Her character, I think her name is Gloria in the show. So her character is gorgeous, housewife, marries the patriarch of the family. His name is Jay, the older gentleman of the family. And he has a lot of money, right? So she has like this really like bougie, amazing, pampered life. And that's amazing. And she fucking owns it, right? And then she goes to this PTA meeting, and there's this like PTA mom who comes up and talks to her and is super passive aggressive and says stuff like, oh, I didn't expect to see you in this type of environment at a school event. Normally we just receive your money, right? Like implying that she's not involved in the school in any sort of way. And at first she gets triggered. Gloria gets triggered, and Sofia Vergara, she gets triggered, and she's like, well, I'm going to show you that I can be involved and I can do it even better than you. And so she does it. And meanwhile, the PTA mom just makes her life a living hell as she tries to contribute her time and energy. And then at the end of the day, Sofia Vergara goes up to the PTA mom and she's like, you know what? I love my pretty life. And I thought I felt guilty about not being more involved, but I actually don't. And the PTA mom gets really, really triggered because, of course, she doesn't feel worthy of the type of life that Sofia Vergara has built for herself. That just, to me, illustrates worthiness and like the power of worthiness. When we feel worthy of a pretty life, of an easy life, of a life where everyone around us caters to us, and that's embodied, right? It's not just a concept in our mind, but it's something we truly feel on a soul level worthy of, then that gets to be our experience, just like Sofia Vergara's character on that show. And for the people that don't feel worthy of that, like the PTA mom, for the people that don't feel worthy of that and believe that they have to self-sacrifice or they have to prove something or they have to achieve something first in order to be worthy of appreciation or love or whatever it is. For those of us that don't feel worthy of the pretty life, of the easy life, of the pampered life, we find ourselves not experiencing that. We find ourselves constantly in a state of saying yes when really we want to say no. We find ourselves feeling guilted into doing things that we don't really want to do because we're too afraid to set the boundary, or we don't feel worthy of setting the boundary. We find ourselves pleasing everyone around us long before we ever make any attempt to please ourselves. And where does that leave you? That leaves you living a life that pleases everyone except you. And I'm sorry, you are the movie star of your motherfucking life. And so if any of this is resonating with you and you're finding that that's how you're behaving, where you're giving your power away to other people because you're afraid to displease them in some way, what I want to challenge you to do coming out of this podcast is start looking at yourself as someone whom the world revolves around for you, not for everyone around you, right? Like we're not going to demand things from people around us. We can set healthy boundaries from a place of love, and we can say no when we really want to say no, and we can say yes when we really want to say yes, and we can make the rules of our life, right, from a place of love and compassion and everything. But it's more of an energetic shift, right? It's more of an internal shift of realizing that you get to be the star of your life. You get to expect people to support you. You get to expect that things will go your way all the time for you. And everyone else gets that same freedom too. And that's why I don't see this as selfish, because it's like nothing is holding anyone back from taking care of their own needs first, except themselves, right? We are all worthy of serving ourselves first and then serving others once our own needs are met. And that's the only way we build a loving, respectful society, right? Like, if we're all sacrificing ourselves to help each other from a place of like bitterness or guilt or shame or whatever the negative emotion is, that's not a very healthy society, is it? So you're encouraged to be the movie star of your motherfucking life. Assume the world revolves around you, for you, within your own body, within your own mind. Start to think of yourself that way. Start to think of yourself as the Beyonce of your world. Start to think of yourself as the Sofia Vergara of the PTA meeting or whatever, right? Like, you get to have your pretty life. You get to say no when you want to say no. And there is no reason why you have to feel guilty for taking care of your own needs first, because you are a big motherfucking deal. That's what I have for you. Share this with a friend who needs it. Please. Just hit that share button, text it to a friend, IG DM it to a friend, email it to a friend, whatever you typically do when you share things with friends. But it's time for us all to see ourselves as worthy of taking care of our own needs first. So that's my invitation to anyone who listens to this. Bye for now. Thank you for honoring your soul's calling today and taking the time to listen to this episode of the Soul Expansion Podcast. If you have a question you'd like featured or have a topic idea, I would love to hear from you. Find me on Instagram at Kristen Kaczynski and send me a DM with your request. Remember, you are a truly limitless being. The limits you see now are only an illusion. Whatever it is that you desire, that's already yours. It already exists in the universe, here and now. You simply have to awaken to what you already have. And I hope this episode brought you a little closer to that truth. If you love this episode and would like to give from your heart and appreciation, please take a few moments to screenshot it and tag me in your stories on Instagram, or write a brief review on your favorite podcast platform. Your voice truly matters, and your feedback helps to spread abundant expansion to a broader audience. And what a gift that is, right? Just think about how much abundance will come back to you if you help a friend experience their own soul expansion. And with that, I just want to say thank you for being you. Thank you for being here. Thank you so much for listening. And until next time, I'm Kristen Kaczynski, and I love you.